Hey guys, Rick Denham here for part 2 of the Dick Nite Spoon series for coho in the rivers. We're going to talk about trolling these Dick Nites on a different couple techniques, and I'm going to go into depth here on how to set these things up and doing something a little bit different that'll get you into more fish. So let's get started here. As I went over in part 1, you know how effective a Dick Nite spoon can be. Casting off the bank, you have a lot of opportunities, but to be honest, if you have the access to a boat, I would be using it, because off of the rivers with a boat you can get to different areas that you are not able to from the bank, and this gives you to access to different holding water and frankly better shots at more fish from time to time. So these techniques here are going to give you more opportunities to put more fish in the boat. So let's take a look at plugs. Everybody knows how effective trolling plugs for silvers in the rivers can be. Well, you also know how effective casting a Dick Nite and having that in your arsenal. Well, you can combine the two together and make one ultimate type of rig. So there's a couple ways to troll a Dick Nite. You can troll a Dick Nite off of your casting rig. So you can take your dropper setup like you have for casting off the bank, put your 1/2 ounce of weight on, cast that behind your boat, and just do a slow troll. Your Dick Nite spoon will just flutter behind the boat. Very effective like that. But there are times when you may be fishing different sections in the river that you want to be able to fish deeper and get the Dick Nite down to a different depth. Maybe even add some action to the Dick Nite that'll draw in more strikes. Well, this is the beauty where fishing a plug can come into hand. So with this dropper rig, there's a couple things we can use. There's bait divers out there, which is a great option. You just clip it here on the front of the bill to the main eyelet, and you're set up to go. The bait diver is going to dive you down to near the bottom, and your Dick Nite's just going to be trailing 6 or so feet back behind that. Just a deadly effective rig when you have any type of water conditions, but the lower water to medium flows work great with a bait diver type style. But there are also times where maybe, as effective as a bait diver can be, you have a chance to double your hookups by adding a plug with hooks on them. So, given if your rigs allow, up here in the north end you can have multiple rigs, so 3 hooks on one rig. So I have a mini little fatfish plug that I can just set up on the same dropper rig as I use for my casting. Get the eyelet of this to go in. There we go. So plug is hooked up. So now as I troll, this plug is going to utilize the depth diving ability from the bill of it and go dig around near the bottom. But now you have the attractiveness of the plug that you may have a fish come and grab the plug, or the fish may come up to the plug because it hears the rattles, then all of a sudden backs off. You have a Dick Nite trailing behind that. Oh, it sees the Dick Nite. Bam, fish on. So a very effective rig to double your chances at getting into more fish. So something to consider, very effective. But there are times when you may not want to run the dropper style. You may just want to run, hey, I want to run it straight off. Well, you can run the diver type itself and run your Dick Nite off of the trailing swivel here on the bottom of the plug, and that way you know, alright, everything's straight in line and you're fishing effectively. You can also modify your plugs by taking off the front belly hook and the back belly hook and then adding a 4-bead bead chain swivel. This is a wiggle wart, I believe, and from here, I can just tie my Dick Nite leader straight to that. 5 or 6 feet behind the plug, and I'm fishing effectively. Another great way, this keeps everything in line with your system, and the Dick Nite is straight behind. And in the scenario of just trolling a plug or diver with no hooks on it, I like running a darker colored plug, because if you run something too bright, you may start getting fish hitting this plug and missing the Dick Nite. So I try and tone down the colors at this point of the rigging to be like the blacks or the purples, darker colors, and not necessarily like your hot bright colors like this plug here. But then you can also modify this version a little bit further to add a hook to the plug as well as fish your Dick Nite effectively. So that would be what you have over here. This is another very effective plug here in the North Sound. As a lot of you know, the Green Fire Tiger, awesome. So I did the same thing that I did to this plug up here. Took off the back hook, took off the front hook, added a bead chain on the front. Now I have a Siwash hook here off of that in the front hook. And I took and added a crane swivel off of the back hook. Excuse me, where the back hook was off the split ring. And right there, I tie off my Dick Nite rig, 5.5 to 6 feet a leader, and I'm fishing with both plug and Dick Nite at the same time. Very effective. Again, it gives the fish something to see the plug, and if they want to hit the plug, they can hit the plug. Otherwise, they may turn around, see the Dick Nite fluttering behind, and smash it. So with those rigs there, you have something that maybe a lot of these fish really don't see, but you add the effectiveness of a plug attraction with the noise, sound, and vibration to an already effective Dick Nite spoon, and it only just adds more strike hookups. But I have one last thing to show you guys for your trolling that can really add more strikes to the boat. So let's take a look at what we have up here. You notice on the sides of my selection of Dick Nite spoons, I have this odd out of the box type one. Well, this is a custom Dick Nite that I have done myself. I actually took the idea from a seminar that Bill Herzog put on for kokanee, and I've been trying this for silvers for trolling. This is a number 2 Dick Nite with the barrel swivel on the top still attached. I put a small split ring in the middle and then added a size 1 Dick Nite to the base. This in the water moves like a swimming fish. The bottom spoon likes to kick and tail while the big top one doesn't move very much. So you have a lot of action, and this drives the fish wild. I've done really well with trout on it, and salmon is something that I'm definitely going to be testing here this fall. But trust me, that thing can add a lot of action and movement to the rivers where you could be trolling behind a plug or a lot of other scenarios. So over here, I got the same setup, just different color combinations. So really, guys, it's stepping outside the box, thinking something a little bit different, but using the effectiveness of what these lures already have built into their action. And this is going to get you more fish to your boat. So that's part 2, guys. Plug fishing and trolling Dick Nites for silvers. Thanks for watching, guys. Look for part 3 coming up. Plunking Dick Nites for salmon. Fish on.